Alright guys, so I typically from time to time will have a helping a humble pie. I think this time I ate the whole pie. I had one of the most challenging times removing these rear trailing arm bushings from my 84 M635. I couldn't believe how challenging it was. I was able to actually use heat to using my torch. I was able to actually burn out all the rubber and the center bolt support without a problem. This MAP gas is incredible, and it was very effective in melting all the rubber, which you can see remnants on the ground here. And here's the center bolt support or carrier, and here are the shells that go on either side of it. And all that stuff came out without a problem. The real issue was the sleeve, which is on the garage floor right here. These sleeves fit inside the trailing arm, and they're pressed in, and I could not get those out for the life of me. They were impossible. Here's the other side right here. Oops, right there. I tried everything to try and get them out. I tried to make a tool and then use my impact, my 1/2-inch impact, and that did not go well. I tried to use my puller. That didn't go well. And then I started, and then actually decided I would go ahead and brought my 12-ton Harbor Freight press out here, and I even modified it. I notched it because of the arm of the trailing arms to try and get it centered under the press. Without notching this, I couldn't line it up perfectly. It was off-centered, and so I had to end up notching my press. That didn't work either, so that was a waste. Anyway, so I started with a saw, my hacksaw, and I started cutting the sleeve along longitudinally, and then I started using my Sawzall, which I have on the ground here, with a new fine metal blade, and then I started making 2 fine cuts, one parallel to each other, and then eventually, and that didn't do much actually. I decided after that to go out and I bought a brand new air hammer, which you see right here. This is sold by Harbor Freight. It's made by Chief. And then I bought better quality air chisel tools. So I use this cutting tool right here, and I got the edge of the sleeve that I made the 2 cuts with the Sawzall, and lo and behold, it came out literally within a few seconds, to be honest with you, probably 30 seconds. With the air chisel, you really have to control the speed. You have to go very slowly and control the speed, because the last thing you want to do is mar or damage the inside here of this bore. So take your time and control the speed, because you don't want the chisel to cut inside here. If you do end up cutting inside the bore, one suggestion I have is you could run a bead of weld in there and then grind it and shape it, or you could even put a little bit of JB weld in there, and the JB weld will take the shape of the little bit that you got damaged or marred, and you'll be fine. So anyway, I wanted to share that adventure. Everything that I was working on, it took me, I would say, 4 to 5 hours between yesterday and today to get these bushings out. And after getting the air chisel, or air hammer with the chisel on it, it took a couple of minutes. So really, it's one of those things that you've heard before. Having the right tool makes a world of difference. So I wanted to share that on the E24. If anybody is deciding to do that, be prepared to get the right tools. Otherwise, your life is going to be miserable. Other than that, here's a look at the car. I got the diff out. Well, I got everything out actually. Diff is out. There's the old diff bushing, and you can see there's nothing under here. Everything is gone. So axles, the subframe support, and then of course all the axles and everything else. Everything is out, and everything's being powder coated and cleaned. I've got brand new axles ready to go in. But wanted to share my adventure so far. You can see it's pretty grimy in here, so all that will get cleaned. There's my old suspension, old Bushings, and anyway, what an adventure! But it's coming together finally. And here's the right side trailing arm that I have to tackle. There's the old CV. You can see some new brakes there, and here are the new rear brakes, so rotors. So anyway, I'll be making some progress now that I know how to get those trailing arm bushings out on the right side. It should go pretty well. So here's my follow-up video, number 2 in the series, and more to come. So I'm glad to be making some progress on the rear end of the car, and addressing some worn bushings and such, and looking forward to making everything looking nice and clean and new under there. So hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're liking all the content in the car and enjoying some of the things I'm sharing with you. Take care. Bye. Hey guys, if you want to replace the rear trailing arm bushings on your E24 or E28, here's what I recommend. I use MAP gas, and I burn all the rubber out of the center. So that's the center sleeve where the bolts go through, and then there's a shell on the outside diameter of that. I just burn through those with MAP gas. That cleans up the bore quite nicely, as you can see. However, you still have another metal sleeve that's still on the inside here, as you can see. The only way to get this out is I make 2 slits with my Sawzall and a fine metal blade. 2 parallel slits, it's about 1 inch apart. And be careful when you're using a Sawzall that doesn't cut into the actual trailing arm. So just cut carefully and just take your time, control the speed. Once that's done, that'll start to weaken the actual sleeve. And then I take this air chisel, which is a great tool, and it'll, you grab the end of it, you have to make sure you get the right bit. It's got to have a chisel end like this, and grab the end of it, and it'll start curling up that sleeve, and then the whole thing will actually come out. So that should help you, and it'll come out probably just in a few minutes. I tried removing this guy. It probably took 3 or 4 hours to try and use a press, and you just cannot press this out. Not with my press anyway. I know people who've tried using a 60 or 80 ton shop press and they still couldn't get it out. And then also the angle of the arms make it very difficult to put it in a press. So this should help you guys if you are trying to replace your rear trailing arm bushings. It's quite an ordeal, but hope this video helps. One thing I will say is I have a friend who restores BMWs for a living, and he's very good. And talking with him, you know, a lot of owners will not replace these bushings. They actually last a very long time. So if your car is relatively low mileage and it's lived in good climates, more than likely they will probably still be in decent condition. These trailing arms are off my 1984 M635. The car has 70,000 miles, so it hasn't been driven a lot, and it's actually only lived in pretty good states. But I've decided to go ahead and replace them anyway, seeing that I'm so far into the suspension rebuild and all the refreshening I'm doing on it. So that's why I decided to go ahead and do it. But if you find that they look good once you take the trailing arms out, maybe you don't have to replace them. Just wanted to put that as a side point, because it is a bit of work to do all this stuff, and if you feel like they're in good condition, just leave them alone. So I hope that helps, and I hope everybody's doing well. Take care. Bye.